I know we're supposed to be eating lunch, but I didn't bring any lunch.
I got 2 vitamins.
I'll eat my lunch while you guys talk. How about that?
I made lunch.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, it can be like nice. Maybe I'll grab. Can you guys hear me okay?
Well, they can't. Now you muted them, but I can hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me okay? All right. I was going to get this like microphone set up, which I think I can still do. Okay. Select a
microphone. How does this?
Yo.
Is it a little bit better?
Is what better? Everything's.
Whoops. Okay, Amy, you should be able to speak.
I'm speaking. I'm
okay.
talking.
Cool. For anybody coming in, you're muted, but we're gonna have like a time when we can all chat together, which I'm excited about. Cool. So I hope you brought your lunch. I didn't bring my lunch. I feel like I should go get a banana.
I wish I could. I have a banana and it's about to rot. I wish I could give it to you.
You should eat your rotting banana and I can eat my banana.
No, I have my simulation lunch.
Okay, I'm excited about this simulation lunch.
Now that I live in a computer, I think it's ridiculous, this whole charade of having to eat or like take bowel movements. Like we should just be done with all that.
Right. I'm down for that. Okay, so Amy, welcome. I'm so excited to have you on our first lunch where we get to talk about creativity, and I want to celebrate you because I think that you're just amazing and are a really cool person and people should totally know about you. So can you tell us, why don't you, if you can, I can go on your website and show people, but it'd be cool if you could kind of describe in words what it is that you do.
It's so funny. I'm so used to asking the questions. So it's a little bit of a power dynamic change. But I will try my best to not totally dom this conversation.
You can dom the conversation, whatever you want to do.
So yeah, I started matchmaking professionally around 12 years ago. And so until last week, I was doing all my matchmaking in person in a brick and mortar art gallery in the East Village called the Modern Love Club. And typically I would interview for an hour each, 9 single people a day. Over the last 12 years, it's been a little bit over 10,000 people. And I would sit and I would write notes while people spoke. And when it came to setting people up with people to fall in love with, I would have these little pieces of paper that I'd move around. And I pretty much didn't use a computer at all. I had an assistant who would do my emails, and I was totally opposed to the internet. I thought that the online dating was the worst thing ever that could have possibly happened to love and romance. But this week I've had a complete turnaround and all of a sudden become an evangelist for online dating.
Wow. What kind of online dating things have been popping up that you are an evangelist for? Are they just like the normal ones, or are there new ones that have appeared?
Well, it's interesting because I thought for a while that the transactions with like using Hinge or Tinder was kind of rendering dating to be a little bit superficial. Like it would work, like if you had a great photo and if you're a tall white guy, like dating would work really well for you and for everyone else. Or if you're like a hot brunette like yoga instructor that was like a size 2, dating would work well for you. But for everyone else was having a more difficult time because I think that the online dating was kind of priming people to become more judgmental. And so, over the last 12 years, I was noticing that loneliness and disconnection was getting, because, this started off as a performance art piece that I thought I would dip into for a couple weeks, figure out what was happening with loneliness 12 years ago, and then go back to doing different durational performance art pieces. But it turns out that the well of figuring out loneliness in this time period is a bottomless well. And I don't feel I feel like I'm understanding what's happening, but I now, with that information, I'm trying to figure out how to empower people and help them feel more connected.
That's awesome.
So with the online dating, people, you know, and I've been tinkering around with it because, you know, for the first time in my life, I'm single, and I've been tinkering around with it, and I could feel myself becoming more and more judgmental. And what I liked about matchmaking was you would have a person, me, or, you know, a friend or another matchmaker, and someone would be like, hey, listen, I know that this person isn't like all this, you know, stupid arbitrary things that you put down on paper that you think that you need. But trust me, this person's amazing, and they're going to make you happy, and you're going to be happy to have met them. I can't say you're going to fall in love or not, but you're going to have a great experience. And so when people had that conversation before going on a date, they would, instead of figuring out why they didn't like a person with online dating, because you're just trying to knock people out with online dating. With this, you try to figure out how to creatively connect with someone and figure out, well, why does Amy think that I should meet this person? Like, what is the connection? So you're looking to connect rather than figure out why a person's disqualified from connecting. And so that little bit of optimism, I think, goes a long way in priming people to have a successful first interaction.
So I was really curious. One reason I wanted to start this lunch series is to encourage anybody that's watching or ends up watching it later to think about how they might be able to take their creative ideas and actually turn them into a reality. A lot of people are searching for purpose and belonging, and what should I be doing right now? I'm stuck inside. I'm not exactly sure what to do. And actually, I want to pull up this quote. I was watching a video that you were in yesterday, and there was this great quote. And of course, where are my bookmarks? Let's see. I'm going to be able to find this. I am unprepared at the moment. Where are you?
Let's take my first bite of lunch.
Yeah, take your bite of lunch. Okay, here we go. Okay, so you said that you ended up being a matchmaker because you had started hosting these series of events where you would invite friends to meet each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then someone interviewed you, and you said that you were a matchmaker.
It's much worse than all that. Now that enough time has passed by, I've kind of become more open with sort of the ragtag situation, because like at this point, like I'm a pretty high-end matchmaker, pretty well respected in my field, and so now I have the freedom to kind of be like, actually, there was a lot, like an intense amount of faking it until I made it like an intense amount.
That's awesome. And the thing that you said,
now that I feel like I'm the best at what I do in the world, I can be like, well, actually, guys, like the real story is much worse than that. So no, I mean, yes, I was throwing parties to connect, and I've always been, even like in elementary school, I would have like singles parties at the mall where I'd like anonymously invite all the boys that the girls liked to like meet at the mall. But I didn't know my friends weren't cool, so we all kind of ended up being bullied. But so I started the parties a little bit after. So the performance art piece involved me sitting in a park in front of City Hall. And I was just sitting in the park all day, and I had a little sign that said like free love advice. And I was still doing acting and working in fashion. I was young. I was like 21, 22. And, but I also dressed very eccentrically. And so I had this hat with like a lobster on it on a plate. I was really into making weird hats. And someone on the street came up to me and they're like, hey, you've got cool style. Like, what's going on with that? And I think I was starting to really hate acting because I was like too pretentious to be an actress. Like I was like, Ingmar Bergman's dead. What's the point? Like there's no possible director I could work with. And so someone's like, hey, like why is that lobster on your head? And I'm like, oh, well, I'm a matchmaker. And they're like, really? And I didn't even know that matchmaking was a job. Like it just I just like to put things where they go. And they're like, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a matchmaker. And then they're like, cool, we want to run a story about you for our magazine. Just tell us all about matchmaking. And so my ignorance ended up being my best gift, because they'd be like, well, you know, what do you think of the Millionaire Matchmaker? I'm like, well, that bitch isn't a feminist. And actually, I believe in a world where like empowered high-end CEO women can hire a matchmaker, and this is what I think matchmaking looks like, and this is how women have agency in dating, because I was also studying like feminist film theory, so like I was deep into that conversation.
Right.
And so I gave this whole interview about a job that not only did I did not know it existed, or that I had any qualifications for it. I just made up a job on the spot. And then that article ran in New York Magazine with a full page spread. And when the article hit the magazine, I decided that I was not doing any of the other jobs that I was doing anymore. And I was going to be a performance art matchmaker. And I was going to do it for a couple of weeks, and it'd be like really fun. And then I would move forward with my life. And so I made a little website, and people were calling me, like thousands of people were calling me, because I guess there hadn't been any matchmakers that were working with women. I was the first matchmaker to take on, women in their 40s that had exciting professional careers, but maybe less successful with their love life. And so I ended up, thank God, being really good at it. And I think it was because I was so scared, right? People were, paying me, I mean, not a lot of money, maybe $50 and then like $200 at the time. But I was so scared because I took these women's money and their trust and their hope. All of a sudden, they're like, Amy, you have to solve it. And so I just, I stopped sleeping, and I just became obsessed with interviewing single people and trying to figure out what it was that wasn't working for people. Because if I could solve this one thing for people, they could go out and do amazing things, right? Like they could figure out like how to fix the environment or like make my favorite film. And I wanted to empower the people that I looked up to, because like, whenever, like, loneliness is such a grand sweeping thing, and it can really take over your brain in a certain way. And so if I could free up this anxiety and put someone with like their next omega level match, then you could see when you put people with their matches, everything kind of vibrates on a higher frequency. So it was this thing where I was like, wow, this is the most helpful thing that I could possibly do. And I happen to be good at it. But yeah, the whole fucking thing was made up.
That's so wild. And all right, so you made it up. And the quote that I have that I wanted to share was, I worked backwards. It was like, that's my job. And then I learned how to do it.
Yeah. I was like, ooh, I just like made up a job. And then I was like, oh, cool. Well, then I had to figure out, the process to how to make it actually work.
Right. So do you recommend that other people do that?
I mean, listen, I think that I have the best job in the world for me. I feel so perfectly aligned with my skills, and I feel like my life is meaningful, and it's the perfect job for me. And I think that I was paying attention, and I was kind of trusting my gut and my impulses. And like my gut told me that the art that I liked to make was about connectivity. It was about bringing people together, and I loved durational performance art. I mean, there's nothing more durational than sitting in a chair for 10,000 hours listening to people's love problems.
Yeah.
And I knew that performance art wasn't really something that I knew how to get paid doing, but I did know that people would and wanted, like I just listened, like everyone wanted me to do this thing. So I just kept doing it. And if at any point in my life, like maybe, people, maybe after this is happening, maybe people won't want to hire a old timey matchmaker. Maybe they want everything to be automated, or, after online dating started, I thought certainly I was going to be a goner. But it keeps growing. And as long as people keep wanting me to do this, I'm happy to do it. And if there's a point where I feel like it's not helping and it's not elevating people or adding value, then I'll do something else.
Sure.
Right now, I feel, especially at this time, especially needed. And after we all went into lockdown, I called on my clients and I was like, hey guys, do you want to keep doing matchmaking in this kind of weird way? I don't want you guys to feel lonely. I'm here for you. And almost all of them said yes. And in fact, things have been busier.
That's wild.
Yeah, but I was like, if you guys don't want matchmaking anymore, or if you want to pause your contracts, we can do that. But as long as they want me, I'm happy to do the thing that I feel like I'm put here to do.
I mean, that's so generous and so awesome of you to do. And then how much better is it that people decided to stay with you and they still want what you're providing? I think it's amazing. I'm going to see if I can pull up a picture of your gallery, because I want people to see your gallery. I just think that it's the coolest thing. Let's see if I can figure out.
I want to do a show with you. I feel so aligned with sort of the way we make art and what motivates us to make art. And I don't know. I feel like a very symbiotic. You can just screen share on here. How cool!
You can just screen
so
share.
much.
If I can figure out how to go to. All right, so I looked up this picture of the gallery, which is about you, and it's in the background, of course. There's a lot of articles and things.
I miss my gallery.
All right, let's see. I think I did. No, I didn't.
I'm in North Carolina right now. With
Anybody that's watching is like, are you kidding me? All right, so this is your gallery, which is pretty amazing. And like, I've been there, and it's such a cool space to be in. And I kind of wanted to scroll through your website because it's so tight. This is Modern Love Club. Can everybody see this? Or Amy, can you see this?
I can see it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So this is Modern Love Club. And basically, you can scroll through. I agree that you are the matchmaker for extraordinary people. And if anybody's interested, you can. Are you still taking new sessions? Could people call in, or do you?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this has been the light, and it's keeping me sane. Getting to just keep doing my listening.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyone can book a love session, or apply to be in the Rolodex. I've got 16 incredible matchmaking clients. Some girls and some guys. It's free if you match with them. And I'm working with some of the best human beings I've ever met.
That's amazing. And I think what's crazier about it is that you have a gallery in the Lower East Side, which we just showed a picture of. And like, if you look on Google, it says Amy Von Doran.
Wow. Yeah.
Love Club. It's just the coolest thing. Anyway, I'm a huge fan of your work. And I love that you started from one point. You know, it's really similar to mine. I kind of had this idea that I was going to help people feel good about the stuff they feel bad about. And then I just kind of made it happen. And I think maybe it's very similar where I started somewhere and then I just worked backwards to figure out how to do it. And anyway, at this point, what do you say? Do you want to just open it up, and if people want to ask questions, they can do it?
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's a great idea. I'd love to.
I'm gonna unmute everyone. So it's gonna be like a party in here, I think.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, JD.
Hi.
Where are you at?
I am in Beacon, New York.
Nice.
I left Brooklyn. It was getting a little too crazy. Came to my cousin's house.
Oh, nice. It's nice to be upstate.
Yeah.
Before,
sure.
All right, JD, I'm going to pause you just for a sec. I am going to mute everyone, and then if you want to chat, unmute yourself. That way you have the. Is that okay? Oh, baby, it's so cute. All right. So if you want to be in the chat, go ahead and you can unmute yourself.
I'll mute myself.
Okay.
I'm curious if
Anybody can join the chat.
Do you also match gay people, or is it just?
Oh,
your mic is muted.
All right, I got her, I think.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I love. My favorite clients are gay. I have a couple of transgendered clients that I'm kind of going on a discovery journey with right now. I love to matchmake anyone who I think has a good soul that I kind of connect with.
That's awesome. That's a cool job. I didn't know there was like in-person matchmaking, because the dating apps do suck, man.
Don't they suck? They suck. They're getting better right now.
I always end up deleting them. It's just like we chat and then it's like, oh, wait, to stop respond. I don't know. It just freaks me. I get too I guess tense with them. I don't know. Yeah.
I think right now it's a better time to online date because everyone has this extended, we're all in timeout basically. And everyone has this extended time to kind of go deeper with themselves. And so with this, there's a longer courtship process, right? Because like you're not going to, whoever you talk to, like whoever you're having, like, you're dating kind of in the pod, you're going to have a longer time of getting to know each other. And so by the time you meet, there's already an intellectual bond. So it's feeling less transactional. Like people are being really thoughtful. Like it can't just be about sex now, because we can't have sex with each other.
Yeah, I like that. It's funny. The only time I've had one boyfriend that I was like really in love with, and we met on OkCupid, but I was traveling for work, so we chatted for like 2 months before we met, and it definitely made a difference.
Yeah, I love it.
Who knows? Maybe I'll download one of those apps again.
Just, you might as well, like, it'd be cool to come out of this time and end up with someone that, next time we have to be quarantined again, we can bunker down with. But yeah, it was cute. One of my clients yesterday went on a date, and she like set up her room with like candles and like plants, and she was reading Henry Miller to the person she was on a date with. I've been seeing people be really cute with sort of their date setups.
Did she go like on an online date?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm still doing the matchmaking, so I'm telling them who to date, but then they're doing it digitally. So it's kind of a mashup between worlds.
Oh my God, I love that. It's such a dystopian.
It's so dystopian, yeah.
So dystopian. That's great.
Oh, we have a question from
Noor. Hi.
Hello. Hi there.
I was wondering what are your thoughts on the future of dating? Considering things might be going much more virtual than we think. I wonder if you had thoughts before COVID-19, what the future of dating is and whether that changed after.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's been, for me, in the last 12 years, it's been the largest sort of paradigm shift. I thought if you'd asked me 2 weeks ago what the future of dating was, it was everyone getting offline and everyone returning to community, and everyone is so burnt out from online dating because they weren't using the internet in a thoughtful way. And I had spent the last 2 years kind of trying to figure out, like, this loneliness epidemic seems bigger than it was before, and kind of just like walking and, with these 10,000 interviews and trying to figure out, like, when did our love structures start falling apart? And I was walking and I was walking and I was walking, and I realized that the way we love sort of follows financial structures, right? And so, a long time ago, people would date to share land, right? Like if you got married, then you get like the woman's family's land or something, or like the cows. And then people started dating because, like, with the agricultural movement, they started, bearing down on land. So people started owning things. And then, things were, for family, or like the changing of, or just like with arranged marriages, like having a secure family system. And then we got capitalism. And so people became really obsessed with choosing their mates, which was cool for a while. But I feel like now we're in late stage capitalism, where people are kind of dating from a place of like consumption. And so they're not trying to figure out, like, how am I connected to this person? That question hasn't been coming up so much as like, the people come in and they're like, well, he has to be, 6 foot tall and, make $500,000 a year and be Ivy League educated and funny and handsome in a traditional way. And people stopped trying to figure out like what they were bringing and more like what they could consume. Because with online dating, it feels like a grocery store. You're like, I want that. I don't want that. I want that. I don't want that. And everyone became so interested in what they want and don't want. They forgot the skill sets of like how to make it work, or how to see something beyond what's, it became a very passive audience. And so when we're watching TV and we're watching The Bachelor, and all the women look the same on The Bachelor and all the bachelors look the same, and everyone just, there's this sameness that started happening, and people were losing their sense of self and their sense of like what makes them special. And so people stopped communicating in authentic and connected ways. And so I'm kind of excited. Like, I feel like if late stage capitalism is sort of like what brought us to this sort of vacuous approach to love, then what's next? Like if our financial systems are failing us, like we can't date based on socioeconomic status anymore. And so I think that the future of love is wide open, right? Like right now, things are going to be messy, but I think in chaos and in and uncertainty, people get very real about what's important, and what's important is fucking love. Like, I don't know anything that could be more important. And so I think we're gonna have to collectively start using our imaginations and our creativity to dream of something that works better. And that goes the same with the government and politics. Like, we have to figure out, and because like I don't want it to be my future of love, I want it to be all of our future of love, and like what that looks like. And so I don't know, like if currency is changing more to like a Bitcoin, does it mean like in a shared economy, does that mean like more people are going to open up to be polyamorous, or is that what we want? I don't want to say what we should do, but I want people to figure out and tune into what makes them happy, and then help empower them to achieve whatever that goal is. But I want people to really think critically about what brings them joy, and what kind of person brings them joy.
Great question. I see a couple other questions coming in the chat. Also, I'm not on a pro account for Zoom, so this call is going to be done in 8 minutes unless I upgrade. So maybe I'll try and upgrade it so we can continue.
I have a pro account. If you want to switch to my account, I can send you a link and you can send it out.
Oh my God.
I'll do that now. You guys,
Angel.
You take your other things. I'll send you a link, Matt.
Okay. We'll figure this out together. We got 7.5 minutes and counting.
If you just put the link in the chat box, we can do that.
Yeah, I'm also happy to just upgrade it myself. I was thinking about doing that if I were to keep doing this. It's been really fun, and this is a great first start. It's really cool. There's about 12 people. I've been live streaming on Subway Therapy's Instagram, so there's been, a constant, I think there's been like a constant 25 people watching at any given time. So that's pretty fun for number one.
Yeah, I just feel thankful to be here with people that actually want to talk about this thing I care about. It's really heartwarming.
Yeah. And, it's really important. Like, this is a creative process, like all of it, that like
the live streaming and figuring out different things. It's like, I'm excited by the process, and this has been really fun. So, Amy, do you want to look through the
Yeah.
Can you answer some questions that you choose?
Yeah. Let's go to Carly's question about once life stabilizes, do you think there'll be more of a shift from hookup culture, fast-paced dating in New York, to New Yorkers developing deeper relationships? I absolutely think that that's going to be the case, and I think that's going to be one of the silver linings that's happened. I think that it's the first time that we haven't been able to get this instant gratification, and that was feeling, like you'd see someone on Tinder, you didn't know anything about them, and then you'd go to a bar and hopefully, maybe get drunk enough to just to sideswipe something and maybe make out with them, and then after that, most of the time we wouldn't hear from that person. So I think people are actually bonding first, and we're seeing how nice it is to be connected and feel safe with a person before being stuck with this person, in your trajectory. As a woman, I feel so much happier knowing that there isn't going to be any pressure to stay on a date if I don't like the person, and because it's much easier just to be like, hey, I'm online and you're definitely not my tribe, I can go. So it's not my whole evening, it's not my commute, I'm not having to get drunk. And I think that it's totally forcing them in, because my guys, no matter what, if they see a pretty lady, they're gonna want to hook up, no matter what the case is. And then sometimes that hookup kind of all of a sudden gets us out of the running of having a real relationship.
For sure.
So I think it's an incredible. I think we should have always been video chatting before going on dates with people that we had no information on. I
totally
agree. Want it to continue to be more thoughtful and real.
Super cool. Yeah, no, I definitely hope so, because I feel like I'm currently in the West Village right now. I was supposed to meet you years back. I think this girl I knew, Siobhan, used to work with you, I think.
Oh yeah, she was one of our recruiters. Yeah.
Yeah, she was trying to bring me in for a meeting, and I just life. But hopefully when this all settles, I hope to.
Also, we can do it online.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I hope so, because I feel like I don't know, like I've been finding recently too, and maybe it's just like navigating 20s, but like vapid relationships, it's just kind of they meld into one another, and it would be really nice like if folks, obviously like attraction has to be there, but if there can be like something more substantial. And I think for like health reasons, and also like I think this is making people think in, not to get heavy, but like an existential way about what they really want. So that's kind of like, I'm hopeful that that's the case, because I'm kind of, at first I was like, yeah, like I'm in New York City, like hookup culture, but now I'm just kind of like, I don't know, I'm not like settled down, but it would be nice to have something in between, you know, like a someone you connect with.
Yeah, I think that we in New York, and this cult of being busy, we were eating a lot of junk food. We were like, I'd run to yoga. If I was going to miss yoga, I'd be mad. Like even my yoga became consumptive. The dating became consumptive, and everything was just like more and more and more. And then you realize that, like, I've realized that my life was a house of cards that was not built on anything substantial. My relationship to food, my relationship to my business. And so once you realize that, you're like, oh wait, I want something that can kind of grow. Like I want a fucking garden. I want a relationship that gets deeper instead of having a lot of superficial things. Like that's interesting, having that original first conversation, but this part is where it gets interesting, right? Like I want to lean in. I want people to lean in and get to have the skill sets of the really interesting stuff is solving conflict and growing with a person and challenging each other. And you don't get that if you're just meeting a person once over drinks and you do that 7 times a week.
Yeah, 100%. No, that's like gives me some hope.
No, everyone, listen, I was feeling real depressed about, any of my friends have been like, I've been like tired and worn out, and I was like, I got to solve this loneliness thing. And it kept getting worse and worse and worse to the point where I was like, I don't know. I don't know if love in the future is going to exist in a way. And this whole thing has been one of the more heartwarming, like seeing my clients have real interactions with people, with strangers on the internet, and much more real and connected ways. I haven't felt so connected with my friends. This is the most I've felt connected in a long time, because I have time and space to sort of cultivate and be present.
That's amazing.
Ridiculous. We had to go into quarantine to connect.
Yeah, I know. It is super ridiculous. Like, yeah, but it's in a way, I guess, like everything has a silver lining, and that's one of them. Like I know, and I'm trying to think that way with my job too, and like hopefully it stays. But like, yeah, like it's about people, I think, more than anything else. Like,
wait, now, so we have just a couple seconds on this. What do I do, Matt, to make the chat keep going?
I just upgraded, so I think, I don't know. I don't know if it's just gonna know. But
it probably won't, Matt.
Huh?
I would recommend the link that Victoria added, because it probably won't. You probably have to create a new call with the upgraded account.
I don't know why it gives me that upgrade link if it's not gonna work when I upgrade. Okay, so I don't know. Do you think it's just gonna end?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what happens all week.
Let's click on Vicky's link.
Let's go to Vicky's link.
Okay.
I'll jump ship.
All right.
Do it together.
5,
What
4,
link? Where
3,
is it?
2, 1.
It's in the chat. It's in the chat.
Go to the chat.
Open the chat.
Where's the chat?